Hi ladies, welcome back. If you've ever felt like you aren't good enough, like you're always trying to be someone prettier, someone smarter, someone more successful, then this video is for you. Today I'm going to talk about rebuilding self-worth from the inside out, not by adding on more layers of I should do this and I must do this and I have to do this, but by unlearning the beliefs that told you you weren't already whole. This is what absolutely changed my life and took me from self-doubt to self-trust. And it is something I guide my clients through all the time at Enliven You. If you know Tony Robbins, you might know something he frequently states, which is that the strongest drive in the human personality is to stay consistent with how we define ourselves. So if you do define yourself unconsciously or consciously by your past mistakes, by your childhood wounds, or by your limiting beliefs, guess what you'll keep experiencing? That exact same version of yourself. So self-worth isn't built through performance, it's built by redefining who we are and then meeting that version of yourself with compassion. Another amazing, empowering coach is Demartini. And if you follow him, you've probably heard him say, whatever you disown runs your life. So when we disown parts of ourselves, whether it's our perceived flaws, our past, or our emotional patterns, we just keep ourselves fragmented, and that fragmentation leads to low self-worth. So healing happens, and you've probably heard this if you're on the journey, when we own all parts of ourselves, the light and the shadow. When you see your so-called flaws as traits with a purpose, you stop trying to fix yourself and you start integrating. I really love something that I learned in my studies, which was every trait has a purpose in a particular context. Every characteristic and every trait is positive depending on the context. Damon Cart is another amazing coach who I follow. He speaks about how self-worth gets tangled with parts of ourselves that are at war. Maybe one part of us wants to be successful, but the other part of us or another part of us is terrified of failure. This is where a particular technique called parts integration really comes in handy because it brings these inner conflicts into harmony. When your subconscious is aligned, your self-worth flows naturally. It's not something you need to achieve, it's something that you need to reclaim. So what can you do? Very first is to identify the part of you that doesn't feel enough. Get curious rather than judgmental. The next is to ask yourself, where did this come from? Was it a parent? Was it a comment? Was it a moment? We want to trace the root of it, not to dwell, but to understand. The next is to give that part what it needed at the time. Did you need reassurance? Did you need safety? Did you need acceptance? We already have all resources inside of ourselves. So as your older self now, you can actually go back to your younger self and give her those resources that she needed, that she wasn't getting, which resulted in the trauma or the emotional wound or the limiting belief. The next is to reframe your worth. And just like Tony says, it's not from your circumstances, but from your constant identity. And you get to choose what that is. So just remember that you don't have to earn your self-worth. You just have to remember it. And if you are ready to go deeper with this work, check out my free guide, Reclaiming Your Worth. The link is in the description below. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share this with someone who needs to remember that they are already whole. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next video.